5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
If I had £1 for every time I've done that since I come back from Lanzarote, I'd be a millionaire. Afternoon, Tom. How the devil are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, Chris. Not too bad at all. You'll get back in the swing of things, mate, and then you'll be back on that aeroplane again before you know it. That's the way life works.
2nd of February. I cannot wait, I'll tell you. How are you doing? Got over the last minute screamer yet?
Yeah, I've kind of, got over it, calmed myself down a little bit. Yeah, I'm quite happy. I mean, my hockey team won last night. So, I could be in a good place right now, which is quite rare. Leicester win and Toronto win, eh?
Well, I mean, Toronto winning, I think that's more of a shock, isn't it?
Well, it has been, mate. Yeah, we've been pretty dire. I mean, both my sports teams have been exactly identical this year, both struggling a little bit with leadership, perhaps both struggling to really hit the standards that are expected of the players. So, yeah, it's been remarkable. There's been a mirror image going on between two entirely different sports, but cheery enough to come into it with 2 wins this week, which is a rare thing this season.
Oh, is that? Yes. I mean, for anybody, it is. I must admit, I went along for an MOT, my own physical MOT this morning. And the nurse, was taking bloods, and she said, right, we're just going to do your blood pressure. And she said, that's really good. That's 110 over 78. She said, it's, perfect for you. I said, I am a Leicester City fan. She said, let me double check it.
Did you come and do it when you were doing the show, Chris? Like the shirt you wore the other day, it'll be like this.
I know. I'm going to say hi to Wayne, who's popped in. Good evening, Wayne. Good evening, Wayne. Good afternoon, Wayne. Chris on an aeroplane, never. I'm sorry I ruined the surprise for Tom, but cheers, Wayne.
Cheers, Wayne.
Fatawoo.
Amazing. Yeah, we got the cups coming. Wayne, thank you very much. Wayne's done us a solid there. I have to go find where mine's going to end up in a minute.
Oh, yes. Just one job, Wayne. One job. He's got a shoe. Well, thanks for popping in, mate. Cheers, buddy. And you had one job and you sent it to the in-post that wasn't underneath my flat. You made
Chris walk a good 5 minutes because I've walked from your flat to where you went to pick it up. A good 5-minute walk there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say, really. Do you know what I mean? I think that's most of them,
Where I live, mate, Mike could end up in a town 20 miles away, yeah.
But you have a car.
Yeah,
no,
true,
seriously, true. Wayne, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, young man. Do appreciate it. Right, 26 weeks into the season, we are playing teams that we've already played.
Yeah, well over halfway now, aren't we? And it's still really, we'll look at the league table at the end, obviously, it's still really pretty much everyone's playing for a lot of things, isn't it? It's a fascinating league we've ended up in this year.
It is. Well, let me ask you, is it fascinating or is it rubbish?
I think it's. I mean, look, if you talk about quality, I mean, I don't think the quality of football's been that good since it was the mid-90s anyway, to be completely
No,
honest.
no.
You know, I think those were the prime Premier League sort of years going into the early 2000s and the prime level of football. And Serie A was great back then as well, wasn't it? So, no, I think, you know, the quality of football might be questionable, but I think the fact the league is so competitive and you can't really predict who's going to do what on what game, and it's very much when you're playing teams versus who you're playing. I think it's created a fascinating, you know, outlay of where the teams are so far, and there's still so much to play for. And it's probably going to go right to the end, Chris.
Oh, I think so. So. And obviously, we'll come to the individual games in a bit, but anybody can, I mean, it's either a case of anybody can beat anybody or everybody's just awful. And I guess when, like, we were in the Premier League for 10 years on the trot, we didn't necessarily see it declining.
No, not at all.
We've been in the Championship now. We were in the Championship 2 seasons ago. I would say that this league has really dropped off from what it was.
I think the quality, yeah. I mean, if you look at even back to 2 years ago when we got promoted, Ipswich Town that year got promoted playing quite a chaotic style of football. They were just, I've used this example quite, they would just generate chances upon chances. And I really think it's as simple as that in this league. If you're the team like Coventry right now, generating the most opportunities, you're going to be near the top of the league.
Yeah, and I've got to say as well, I mean, we will come on to the Leicester game later on, but when you watch that, you've got 2 Championship teams that, all right, they're both struggling at the moment, but West Brom have usually been up there or thereabouts. The next Premier League team as well. When I watched, look, we both did the watch along at the weekend, and it was like watching 2 under-10s teams play.
It was indeed, yeah.
You know, excuse me, we were wearing blue. They were wearing green and yellow. And I'm not saying this just Leicester. West Brom were just as bad. You pass to the people wearing the same colour as you are. Have a look down. Oh, yeah, that's blue. And a number of times during that watch-along, I said, Leicester have the ball. No, we've given it away. Oh, no, West Brom are giving it back to us. It was horrendous.
It was, yeah, especially in the middle of the pitch. I think in the Championship, a lot of teams try and play nice football, especially if you've got that ex-Premier League pedigree, right? And I'll talk about this later on as we get through the games with Southampton and Ipswich and us, because there's something I've noticed about all of us, which is really probably catching us out a little bit. And in the Championship, obviously, there's a lot of high pressing in that. So it does create a chaotic sort of mosh pit in the middle of the pitch a lot of times in these games. And if you're lucky, you end up with a basketball game that can be very entertaining, very end-to-end, but once again, lacking potential quality. It's why the individual player this season has been so important for a lot of teams. I look at Sorba Thomas at Stoke for one, right? He has really lifted them up. You look at Fatawu for us, for all the bad. There's games this season he's bailed us out of very difficult situations. So it is very much a league where the individual can really make a mark on their football career as well.
Indeed. Right, well, let's have a look then. Let's get on to it. All I'm thinking of, how long have they said, of people been saying the Championship is actually the best league in Europe? You know, better than the Premier League. It's more competitive. It's not so hairy-fairy. You know, people are putting tackles in and what have you. It's better than the Bundesliga and Liga and Serie A. It's not this season. It's really not. Not just Leicester. I'm not saying that Leicester. Fortunately, I'm saying that for most of the Premier League teams, but Premier League Championship teams. Right. So this was the weekend. I mean, we didn't play till the Monday night, so we're not actually on there. But 3 games postponed. First of all, I mean, what a shock start to the weekend. Birmingham, who don't look normally like to score, beating Coventry. I think QPR, Sheffield Wednesday, you're not going to get very good odds for that at all, because Sheffield Wednesday, no fault of their own, but they are awful. I do feel sorry for them. Sheffield United, Oxford, postponed. Blackburn against Charlton, a point probably didn't do either of them any good. But, you know, well done to Charlton for getting the point. Bristol, who seem to be losing more and more, they seem to be doing a Preston. Were beaten by Preston at home, 2-0. Wrexham just climbed up the table. I think it's 4. Is it 4 on the top they've won now?
4 wins in a row, yeah, over this Christmas period.
Yeah. Hull and Watford, theirs was postponed. Middlesbrough, Southampton, I mean, fair play to Middlesbrough. They needed that because they hadn't taken advantage of Coventry not winning. but this time they did against, to be honest with you, a poor Southampton side. Millwall taking the spoils against Swansea, doing us a favour. Stoke beating Norwich, doing us a favour because they're below us. And Portsmouth and Ipswich, we should have expected Ipswich to win, as obviously that was postponed as well. So 3 postponements, 9 games to look at. And then, of course, we've got your speciality at the end where you're going to pick a performance of the week. Indeed. And let me just say, I can overrule you, can't I?
I was going to say, you pick it. I offer up some nominations, and of course, everyone in the chat as well. Get your highs, and there's a few other people in as well now as well. And nice to see you, armchair jockey. You get to play along as well. You get to throw out your suggestion as well from the teams that I will put up there for the performance of the week. And of course, Chris, at the end of the season, we can go right. What was the best performance, and who had the most of them?
And I think you should go to the ground and present it to the captain on the pitch before kick-off of the final game. That's going to happen. Right. Again, over Christmas, I've been having a bit of a move around and a change of things. So here we go. This is the first game. I don't know how much of that you can see. If you want to bring it up, Tom, it's on FootMob. It was the first game of the weekend. 3 goals to Birmingham City, 2 to Coventry City, which they had a player sent off, obviously, as well. But they are really going through a bad patch at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. It's only 2 wins now in the last 8 for Coventry. And you could argue the Christmas period, obviously, is quite intensive with the amount of games and minutes you've got to play, right, as well. And they do play quite an intense style of football. If they're going to go out there and score goals, they normally do it in clusters, don't they? They normally get like 2 or 3 in a few minutes. And they're very, very intensive. So I do wonder it's just a case of for Coventry, they've played a lot of games and eventually it will catch up to you and your squad depth is, put under pressure. I mean, we've already seen a lot of moves this transfer window for loans moving around and all the rest of it. And it's only the 7th of January, Chris. And I think that's because of squad depth for all the teams, because that's the thing that might catch you out now with the legs going.
Yeah. I mean, look at that momentum chart in the bottom left. I love this chart because it shows like who's on top at different times in the game. I mean, looking at that, you wouldn't think the team in dark blue, which is Birmingham on this occasion, would have actually scored a goal looking at that. But no way would you look at that and think they're gonna win it. But Coventry, for all that, I mean, the possession they had, which was 76%. You've got to put the ball in the back of the neck, haven't you?
Well, that's it, exactly. We see this a lot throughout the Championship, don't we? I mean, you could put this at Leicester at times, you could put this at other teams where there's a lot of possession, but how good are you at actually creating clear-cut opportunities? And this is very much a game of an example of that, because Birmingham created some clear-cut opportunities and took them, especially early on after 6 minutes and 17 minutes, They even rocked Coventry back after Coventry levelled it on 8 minutes. So, yeah, I mean, they needed this Birmingham, though, as well, Chris, because, of course, it's the end of a 7-game winless run for them. And there was a bit of, noise about what you were talking about in regard to the manager Chris Davis, where there was too much sideways football according to their fan base, and it was really starting to frustrate them. He was arguing he wasn't intending to play sideways football, and then they go out and pull out a performance like this. So it was very much an energizing result for them, this one.
It was, but when you look at the stat, I mean, the expected goals, there's very little between them, but 9 shots to Birmingham, 17 to Coventry. You've got to say Birmingham's shot to goal ratio tons better than Coventry.
Yeah, especially bearing in mind they had a couple of changes today. Like they had Kumas come in, who hadn't scored all season for them, was starting to get a little bit of stick off the Birmingham fans. Loney player that comes in did very well with Stoke last year, but he got his first one of the season today. And Ducks, the other striker they signed, really turned up and performed probably for the first time this season. He'd been getting 1 or 2 here and there, but to go out there and get the 2 goals was, taking a good bit of accountability for them. So, yeah, I mean, they'll be delighted. For Birmingham, though, it's like a lot of other teams in this league, isn't it? Are they going to miss out because they're too inconsistent?
Indeed, inconsistency is the byword this season. I want to ask you about Coventry, because look, we've been there, we've seen it, we've got the T-shirt. Although this is Francis Bottas, and I must give it him back sometime. Bum bum.
Your mate, yeah.
Yeah, when we were in this position 2 seasons ago, and we went on a bit of a winless run, or certainly a disappointing run. 17 points clear, and is it complacency? I mean, I thought it was a little bit with Leicester, because you're thinking like, well, if we lose the next one, we're still, 14 points clear or whatever it is. But then that starts getting eaten away. Or is Frank no, it's Frank Lampard, isn't it? It is. Is he maybe not as good as we all give him credit for?
Well, it's a funny period, the Christmas period, isn't it? Because you notice at the same time as Coventry doing this, Middlesbrough were doing it as well, right? And obviously we'll get to the Middlesbrough game in a bit. But I wonder if, Chris, there's a little bit of, you're doing really well in the league. You've got your Christmas parties and all the rest of it. The schedule's a little bit thrown all over the place because you've got family time as well as training and all the rest of it. And it's also the amount of games. So I don't necessarily think it's that. And I think it's probably a combination of those factors I've just mentioned, right? I think it's probably a lot of, you were celebrating, you've done really well. We did it after we won the championship a few years ago, didn't we? Or probably 10 years ago now, where we were so hammered and hungover. We got hammered at home by Brighton 4-1, didn't we? Out of nowhere.
They went and scored, signed their star striker.
We did, exactly. So there is precedent for this. And I've noticed how it's been the top clubs that have really been doing this, apart from a couple. So I don't think for Coventry it's anything to worry about. And they've already gone out and made a loan signing from Tottenham, haven't they, of the Korean winger who's got a lot of pace and a very tricky player. So I think they're very wise. And I still think they're going to have this Leicester wobble like we had, but they're still head and shoulders the best team, aren't they, at the moment?
I would agree. I didn't know you used Head and Shoulders.
I try to, my friend. I use it on my beard.
I've not seen that Head Shoulders, the beard, the beard edition.
Beard edition. I should make that. I'll be on Dragon's Den before you know it.
You would indeed. Right, next game. Queen's Park Rangers 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0. If there was ever a one-sided game, looking at those, although having said that, the possession wasn't as one-sided as the last game we've just looked at, but look at that momentum chart.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, you got to feel for Sheffield Wednesday, because even the manager said post-match, he was saying this was actually a good performance, even though we lost 3-0, because he only actually started this game with 3 experienced first-team players. The rest were youngsters, Chris. He brought off 1 or 2 off the bench, but he was relatively quite happy with it. And actually, for QPR's perspective, they went 1-0 up with Burrell. And it's actually been, for a 3-0 win, quite a destructive game for them, because they lost a few players to injury. I mean, so Burrell's gone out now with his hamstring, and he's their top goal scorer.
Right.
Yeah, so there's a few little niggles there from QPR. And obviously, after that, Colley came on, who has been a bit of a young wonder kid for them. He's got his first couple of goals of the season. He was famously the player that went over to the fans after QPR got hammered 7-1 this season by Coventry. And he was seen talking to the away supporters. He's only a 20-year-old kid, so he's taking a lot of accountability. So, yeah, I mean, QPR are similar to Birmingham, aren't they? I mean, they're just inconsistent, but there is something there about them. And you wonder with the injuries, because it wasn't just Burrell, just to wrap that up. It was also Verin, I believe, also went out with an injury as well, and Liam Morrison, their centre-back, in the pre-game warm-up. So that's 3 players they lost, and we talk about squad depth, and you think these sort of things, when you get in towards this period of the season, can be the difference between you maybe making a playoff push and maybe slipping away.
Yeah, and also, I mean, look, they're on -7, bless them. I mean, I don't agree with that. Why give them that extra -6 when you're not 10 off? And you're not, the owner's fucked off anyway. So who are you hurting there? Who are you really, really hurting? The fans. But then again, when was the last time the EPL or the EFL bothered about fans?
Well, there's got to be a question about this, hasn't there? Because Sheffield Wednesday are broke. They're trying to find a new buyer, and it seems to be damaging their future revenue streams by giving them more and more points deductions. Doesn't seem necessarily the best way to go about it, does it?
No. I mean, the argument, I suppose, could be, well, might as well give it you now because you're not going to stay up anyway, so it's not going to make a lot of difference. But look, they are 29 points behind Oxford.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There is no way that they. I mean, if they were to somehow stay up from that, and that's from Oxford, who are in 22nd, going to Portsmouth, it's 12 points behind. They're never gonna get that back. So, do you think there's a bit of case from sort of the manager playing it along the lines of, well, you know what, we're down, guys. let's call a house a house. You're down. I'm sorry, I've just realised I haven't got my microphone there. See, that might sound better suddenly. Don't know if it does or not, but it might do.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. You know, just go out and play, lads. Just go out and enjoy yourselves. We're not going to stay up. We've gone down, whether we finish 22nd, 23rd, 24th. The moment we haven't got an owner, so it doesn't really make any difference in prize money. You might as well just go out there and just enjoy playing football.
Well, they're still stuck in limbo, aren't they? Until they have a new owner, it's going to be very difficult to know how they're going to proceed. I mean, they're proceeding from League One next season, you know. There's no way about it. But I think for them, it's small gains, isn't it? If they can bed in some younger players now, knowing they're down anyway, give them some minutes, which is what they did in this game. And that's why the manager, Pedersen, didn't, go after them in the post-match. He was very warm about their performance and efforts. I think there is something longer term maybe you can gain from that. But it's still hard for them to plan because until you know who's running the place and what sort of budget you're going to have and how everything's secured, it is still very dodgy ground. So I just send them all the best every week for Sheffield Wednesday. I feel very sorry for them because they're such a big football club with a very nice fan base as well.
Hi Prashant, thanks for popping in. Enjoy work or not, as the case may be. I have nothing against it. I always look, and I think I've said this before, I've only just really stopped looking at different places I've worked, like Blackpool, Bolton, Bury and all of those. But for many years, because I'd worked there and got a bit of an affiliation, I used to follow them. I've kind of stopped that now. But there's clubs there's clubs you hate. There are rivals that you hate. I mean, as much as I hate Forest, Coventry, Derby, I wouldn't want to see them go out of business.
No, me neither. I wouldn't want to see any football club go out of business.
No, exactly. And Sheffield Wednesday, and Charlton have been there as well over the last couple of seasons. They've always been a fairly decent club. I can remember Trevor Francis being the manager and them getting to 2 finals in one season and getting relegated, it has to say. But when you look at their facts there, yes, they had over the majority of possession, but did nothing with it. Expected goals 0.1. Total shots 4. No big chances. That's what is, that's their problem, isn't it? But they haven't got, as you said, the players to do it.
No, they don't. They've had to make do, haven't they? But the thing about them is, which is the positive element of it, is look at Sunderland, right? I mean, Sunderland were down in League One, and I said then they're a sleeping giant because they've got such a big fan base, such a a massive footprint of a football club. And look at them now. So I think anyone who wants to buy a football club, Sheffield Wednesday will be right at the top of the list because they can get 40,000 in that stadium if they're really behind the team, can't they?
Once they've sorted the stadium out, yes, definitely. It is. If you are going to buy a football club, and, why wouldn't somebody that, like a rich Saudi or somebody, take a gamble on this? Because you'll get them very, very cheap and turn them into that club that they should be. Look, we were in League One, and look what we've done, So, yeah, it happens, but, I feel, like you say, I do feel for them. I really do. Right, so let's go on to the next game, which is Blackburn Rovers, Charlton Athletic. 4 goals here, 2-2. And, I mean, Blackburn were 2-1 down at one point and came back in the last third to get 7-7. Again, looking at that, Blackburn had the momentum behind them.
Yeah, it was 2-0 actually, Chris. Yeah, you were close. It was 34 minutes and the 37th minute Blackburn got back into it. Yes. So the draw for Charlton leaves them without a win in 4 games now, and they're starting to drop a bit, aren't they? But you'd argue it's a better point for Blackburn in the circumstances because they were 2-0 down. Obviously, the manager for Charlton was very upset they didn't finish the job because they haven't done it in a few games now. They have had injuries as well along the way, which hasn't been helpful. But interesting how Moussa Barrage has come into a bit of his own here. The guy who scored for Blackburn, he was someone I looked at in the summer and recommended to Wayne and Jim, actually. Maybe we should look at as a signing. He's a bit of an Aaron Ramsey in that he's had a major injury. Used to play for St Etienne, has come on loan from a Swiss team now to join Blackburn. And he's got a lot of ability, and he gets 2 goals today. Today in this game, when he's finally managed to get his fitness back. So it talks about the gambling on these players. Sometimes you get in on loan right that we've had with Ramsey. And if you can get them up to speed, then you've got a really good player there. Because realistically, Blackburn couldn't attract a player of this quality for my money unless he didn't have something wrong with him. So really happy for him to come back.
A bit like you say, a bit like us and Ramsey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's really good for them that he started to come into the team, because he is definitely going to be an upgrade for them now. He's fitter as well. So so good result for Blackburn. We're more than Charlton.
Legions of positivity. In answer to your question,
just reviewing last week's championship fixtures. Legion.
Oh, it's going across the bottom as well. Clues are there, mate. Clues are there. I mean, it was a good result for us. For those games that actually went ahead, it actually didn't work out too bad for us, did it? Because this has kept both of them below us. And we keep saying about the points deduction, and they said on the TV that to be fair to Leicester, they've surely got to announce it soon. And this is the unfairness of it. Don't come to us in April, but then if we're fighting it again, then that's going to drag it out, isn't it?
Well, what can they do until we get to the end of the transfer window, Chris? Because if we put in a plan in place to say we're going to sell Woutface, we're going to sell Soumare, we're going to do this is going to bring X amount of wages off, then we might still fall under, because the end of the financial year isn't here; it's in June or July. So I think that's when we'll get it. I think you're right. I think once the window's closed, if we haven't met our obligations, then we might see it. I still think we're going to get away with it.
Well, I hope you're right. I hope you're right, sir. Charlton Athletic, and I have a little allegiance for Charlton. Everybody's favourite pundit-wise to go down.
Yep.
They booked that trend like Sunderland when they first came up, and we thought, oh, maybe, but they are getting dragged into it. And when I look at the thing, they are down in 19th on 29, only 5 points clear of Norwich City, 1 point ahead of Blackburn Rovers, who are down there. Like you say, Blackburn will have been more happy with the result, but it didn't really do either of them, any good. But I think Charlton need to start winning now. They're going to be in real trouble.
I think they need to add a bit more depth, Chris, because this bad run all started because both their fullbacks got injured, and they like to play this 3-5-2, right? And they were playing wingers as their wing backs. And you think that's the problem, isn't it? If you're playing wingers as wing backs, then you're going to have the tackling ability. So unbelievable, really that. So, so I think they need to go out in the transfer window to see what they can do business-wise, just to add some more depth to their squad. They were probably actually, looking back at this game just briefly, lucky not to give away an 89th minute penalty as well for a handball, which would have meant Blackburn came all the way back, Glenn, right? So so that was probably a bit disappointing for Blackburn, but how this point will turn out at the end of the season. I mean, Charlton, they are slipping, so they might end up in the bottom three yet.
Hiya, just chatting, how you doing? Unfortunately, I don't do Discord. The Discord that we do is purely a talk sport chat for presenters. So apart from that, I don't have any connections on Discord. But anything else, happy for you to talk with me. Right. So Sheffield United versus Oxford was postponed.
That was probably really helpful for Oxford, because Oxford are in this period now trying to get a new manager, and all the rest of it. And they made a good sign. They got Donnelly in, who was at Stoke earlier in this the first half of the season. He's gone back to Tottenham. He's joined Oxford because they wanted to give him a few more minutes, and they got an option to buy him. So they're already starting to make transfer moves as well. And of course, that's a big part of where we are this week right now.
It is. And do you think? I mean, any news on the manager there?
Not a lot. I mean, we're hearing all sorts of names, and but there's nothing really been confirmed as of yet. I mean, I think Craig Short, the guy in charge at the moment, as the caretaker, he's a decent enough coach, isn't he? So I guess we'll have to wait and see on that one, Chris. I don't think Oxford particularly know what they're doing. It does make you wonder if they should have sacked Rowett. I mean, they're gambling that they were going to go down anyway, but he was doing a pretty decent enough job if he could have got a bit of a run on.
That gamble is: do you stick with the manager that you might go down with, but you would probably go down anyway, in the hope that he's probably the guy to bring you back up again? I think Rowett was hard done to there, to be honest with you. Right, so that's Blackburn Charlton, and we're on to Bristol City, Preston North End. Now, I mean, again, the home side had most of the momentum, weren't able to make that count. The XG, the shots, and the big chances all went to Preston North End. And when you look at that, and you look at Bristol City's start to the season, and we've always said this about Preston, they always start well, and then they fall away.
Yeah.
Well, Bristol City are doing their best to try and impersonate them at the moment, aren't they?
This was probably one of the shock results of the week, yeah, because I didn't see this coming because they just beaten Portsmouth 5-0 at home, and then of course Preston go and shut them down. And you look at, like you said, a momentum meter there. Yeah, it's amazing, really. I think the difference in this game, Chris, was the goalkeeper Everson, who obviously is ex-Leicester, because he made his third clean sheet run in 4 games. For Preston, which is remarkable, and especially you look at that momentum, right? So, but yeah, they are slipping a bit. I mean, the thing for Bristol City is they have signed Sam Morsley on a free transfer, who was playing out in Kuwait, and obviously he left Ipswich Town, but was a big part of their promotion season 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So that could be a smart bit of business, bringing him in on a free transfer to add a bit of experience into this team, because they got a lot of young quality there at Bristol City, but you do wonder if there's enough substance in the team as well to get them into that top 6, but they're going to be close.
Yes. And I mean, look, the shots, it was 11 to Bristol. It was only 12 to Preston. They only beat them on the big chances 1-0. So, it's not necessarily, and I didn't watch it, I don't think it's necessarily a bad performance, but when you have that much momentum, you've got to get something from the game, haven't you?
You have indeed, yeah. But I think it shows you the level of standard as well, because the Preston manager on the reverse of that was actually pretty disappointed they didn't score more goals and didn't create more chances, as you could probably see again from that momentum meter. So it shows you the level of standards Preston have got, which is probably why they're now up in 4th place and doing very well for themselves.
Yeah. I wouldn't be totally against the Preston being in the Premier League.
I would love to see it, actually, because they're one of those clubs you kind of feel like Bristol City have been around and bouncing around in this league for a while. And it'd be nice to see someone different, wouldn't it? Someone different get an opportunity. And I think Preston, you think of the sum of their parts, they're the team that's overachieving the most so far this season, because it was 2 loanee players that scored the goals as well. Dobbin on loan from Villa, Devine on loan from Tottenham, so they're really having to scrape the barrel to pull a team together. And they've got a great team spirit, a very unique tactical shape with the 3-5-2 pretty much, with a bit of a tweak. And Heckingbottom did get Sheffield United promoted with the same formation, Chris.
Yeah.
Preston,
I mean, they've got, you talk about sleeping giants, and, what do you call a sleeping giant? I mean, if you want to go back, and I know for you youngsters, you will find it hard to realise that there was football before the Premier League, but there was. And back in the day, a lot of the Northwest clubs, your Prestons, your Blackburns, Boltons,
Burnley.
Burnleys, they were all the big clubs, Preston won more FA Cups than a lot of teams, so it would be nice to see them. My worry is anybody going up from what I've seen this season, I think they could all be doing a Burnley next season, if I'm honest with you. Right. If there is ever, this has probably got the worst momentum chart of the season, of the day, for the team that didn't go on to win it.
Okay. Oh my word! Look at that. That is amazing, isn't it? Look at that basketball game.
Yeah, it is totally. I mean, give them the first, 20 minutes maybe for Wrexham. They didn't even score when they were on top. Then Derby came back, and I mean, that just defies belief. 52% possession for Derby, 1.35 expected goals, highest, 13 shots over 11, but Wrexham had the 5 big chances compared to 2. Again, Derby struggled at the start of the season, came back, and then they just seem to be imploding again, don't they?
Well, they draw too many, Chris. I went back and looked at their results from the last month before this game. I thought, oh, have they been that bad? They started to drop off. And actually, apart from losing to us twice, they've drawn every game. So they're just not picking up enough 3 points, And this is one where they've gone down, right? They both got similar problems. Both have got an injury to their main striker, because Kiefer Moore's out for Wrexham. And then you've also got the other chap out for Derby. Oh, God, his name's Carlton Morris, who obviously has been one of the top championship goal scorers this year. An interesting thing about it is Wrexham have survived this period better because Sam Smith's come in for them, who wasn't even really a considered first team player for them, and has now got 4 goals for them since this injury happened to Moore. So that has been a real help for them and helped them to these 4 wins in a row, including this one. Derby have gone with Angevin, who hasn't quite got there, but he has moments of brilliance, right? So yeah, 4 wins in a row now for Wrexham, and surprisingly, they've become sort of under the radar and on the verge of the playoffs with such a team with such a noise behind them because of the Ryan Reynolds and Rob McAvenny factor.
Yeah. Dworsky, you're a gentleman, sir. Managed to work out the YouTube height feature. You're a better man than me. I'm relying on others. Good, you gave you a hype at the weekend. You're a star, sir. Might give you another one this weekend. Only might. Fair enough, though. Can you only give 3 a week? I think you can.
Yeah, it's only 3 a week. Yeah, I normally give them out on just random shows on the channel. Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you very much. Anyway, actually, I don't understand it. So that was Derby. Having said that, though, they are still in 13th, only 2 points behind a certain East Midlands rival in blue. So they're not. But they look to be suddenly they look to be breaking away and having a good run, and then say it came to an end. Wrexham put that good run together. They're up to 9th, outside bet for the playoffs.
I think they quietly are, mate, because you've got to think about, they're very proactive as well. I mean, they've re-registered Jay Rodriguez, who obviously used to play for Burnley, who wasn't registered, I believe, for the first half of this season. They've got recalled Paul Mullen from Wigan because they're considering their striking options with Moore being out. And I think amazing goal from Matty James as well in this game, Chris. Matty James scoring an amazing goal for them. I mean, his experience in that team. They're an interesting balance, and they're seemingly sticking with the manager when there was a bit of a question mark earlier in the season has done them the world of good because they seem to have a bit of energy about them now, don't they? So we'll see. I mean, this transfer window is huge. I mean, because it's come at a time where you say a lot of clubs need a little something, including Derby, because Derby could go on and make the playoffs, but they just lack that little bit of spark. They perhaps need to confirm themselves in that race,
Is Matty James at Wrexham now?
Yeah, he is, mate. Yeah, he's playing in centre midfield. I think he's like 37, isn't he? He scored a wonder goal in this, yeah.
I must admit, I always rated him higher than I rated Drinkwater.
I did. It was the injury, wasn't it? Unfortunately, That was it. But the fact his career is extended now and he's such a big part of this Wrexham team is remarkable. I tell you what would be interesting is if, he moves on from Wrexham, what will he be doing next season? Makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Mullen was sent back by Wigan. Armchair said, interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. He'll probably go somewhere else then.
And I must admit, I've forgotten what I was going to admit there. I was going to admit something, and I can't remember. Oh yeah, he was there when Bristol City were doing well a couple of seasons ago.
That's right, exactly. Under Pearson, yeah, and Andy King was there as well. There's a few ex-Leicester boys in that team, wasn't there? So it shows there was some good pedigree.
Oh, it does. It does. Right, okay. So that is Derby versus Wrexham. Hull Watford was postponed again.
Very last minute that one, wasn't it? Cool.
It is, and it's unfortunate, and it sticks out with Watford and Boulevard. It won't be a short journey from Watford to Hull. I know my geography enough to know that, but and I'm in a championship chat group with a lot of other YouTubers for all the championship clubs, and they are not happy about it, which I understand. There's some controversy, one of the people that had to decide whether it went ahead or not, was on the works for Hull, but they are the home team. But at the end of the day, whether it is 5 hours before kickoff or 15 minutes before kickoff, you have to take the safety, not just of the players, but of we all know these football clubs, steep angles, you've got to take that into account for the fans and also outside the ground as well.
Well, that's it exactly. I mean, I saw a vlog from one of the Watford fans, and he worked out. I think he spent over £100 trying to get to this game, and he wasn't going to get any of it back, obviously. Including travel, and all the rest of it. So there was a bit of noise. It wasn't actually anything wrong with the pitch either. It was to do with the side of the pitch. But I will say this: there was an unfortunate incident where a poor young chap lost his life in a non-league game because he came off the side of the pitch and hit a wall, didn't he? And it was quite a nasty, horrible situation. So I think they're pretty hot on making sure the entire of not just the playing area, like you say, the exterior of the playing area, is safe. Because if someone goes off and slips on some ice and breaks their neck, you've got a liability there, haven't you? It's insurance and all the rest of it. So very frustrating they weren't organised more. And Watford turning around saying they'd have played the game because they got there and not matching that statement. That's the problem for me. The fact there wasn't an agreement earlier, perhaps.
I do remember, and I can't remember the game, but there was a game that was once called off because of the conditions outside the ground.
Yes, it happens quite a lot. Yeah.
And look, if you're in the ground and you're on row or whatever, I remember I was high up there when I had a season ticket. Those steps, if you are coming down them, not much going up, but coming down them, you slip and you hit your back on those stone steps.
Yeah.
So I have sympathy for the Watford fans, but I also totally understand and support calling the game off if that's what the people deemed right. Let's move on to Middlesbrough. Back to second. Southampton. Well, let's talk about Southampton. But again, look, for once, the team that was on top of this for most of the game actually ended up winning it. I can remember Jack he's the Southampton vlogger, and is a mate, and we always have a laugh and a joke. And I once said after they beat us, I turned around and said, if you don't give this bloody manager, this assistant, this caretaker manager the job, your owner wants a lobotomy. I know.
And look what's happened now.
Yeah, and then he messaged me, he said, F off. He said, as soon as he said that, we lost the next game. And of course, they've gone on to lose quite a few. I mean, again, at one point, when you were looking at all the teams that had been relegated, Southampton were the ones that were struggling, made that change in the manager. They came back, not 1 in 5, but again, they're still on 33. But it's not out of danger yet, though, is it?
No, not at all. And I brought this point up at the start of the show. I think Leicester, Ipswich, and Southampton have all been facing the same problem this season. It is the hangover. It is playing a similar way from last season, and Southampton playing a similar way. It's slightly different now, to be honest to them. But the problem again with this is they're missing chances, because they had chances early on, as you can see there, to probably take the lead in this game, and they missed them. Similar to what they were doing under Will Still. It's almost like it's gone back to what it was like, before Still lost his job. And I think a lot of that is trying to get out of this habit, and Ipswich are finally doing it, aren't they? That's why they're now up towards the top of the table. They finally broken that monotony of not being able to score goals. So I think Southampton are still a work in progress with this, aren't they? It's going to be interesting because they have got the ability to be in the top 6 from the ability from the goals they can score. But when they have days like this today, like you say, it makes things a bit uncertain, doesn't it?
It does. And also, Middlesbrough hadn't taken advantage. We spoke earlier about Coventry's, only 1 win in 5. And Middlesbrough hadn't taken advantage of that because I think they had...
that was their first win in 5 as well, literally.
Yeah, yes, it is. And they'd lost a couple, and they thought, if they'd have won those, I mean, they are 6 points behind. So if they'd won that, they'd be joint top, but obviously they'd be second on goal difference because of Coventry's free scoring. So they must be kicking themselves. They've got West Brom next, but fair play to them for coming back and destroying Southampton 4-0. And look at the stats there. You can see that everybody there is, the highest unexpected goals by far away. Shots, in fairness, Southampton had 16, 5 big chances. So really, they got what they, I suppose, deserved, if you like. Should we say that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, before this game, they'd gone 6 hours without scoring a goal, over 6 hours, Chris, because they hadn't scored in about 4 games. You know, it was always they were losing to nil. So to go out and get 4 against Southampton in 20 minutes as well, if you look at when the goals were scored, it was all in 20 minutes. Superb for them, really. Yeah, I mean, they've obviously got a lot of quality in Whittaker, haven't they? I mean, he was great at Plymouth when a couple of years ago, and he really was the reason they were staying up that season. So yeah, I mean, for them, this is what they're capable of, and that's second place as far as I'm concerned. I know Ipswich are doing really well. Middlesbrough look a lot more lethal when they're on it. It's going to depend which one of these two is going to be on it more often, but this was a great result for Middlesbrough, and they definitely needed it.
Only 2 points difference between them. And Ipswich are on the better run, having won 3 and 2 in their last 2 games. They're on the better run. But more bad news for Southampton, though, that they could be set to lose their director of group talent strategy at Sports Republic.
Yep, so a rival in the Championship.
And who would that rival be, young Tom?
I can see lots of logos with the badge on it in your camera, oddly, Chris. I don't understand why that is, but I think it's the ones in blue who have foxes all over their logo. Don't know who they are.
Oh, for a minute then, you had me thinking, what's he talking about? Yes, Leicester in talks to appoint Southampton's Goldie as technical director. The only I would take this story with a bit of a health warning, though. As Steve said last night, is one of the is one of a number of candidates spoken to over the Leicester position. Goldie's under contract at Sports Republic. Goldie previously headed up one of the Scottish FA's performance schools and was academy director at Dundee United and Swansea. Are you ready for this next bit? At Southampton, he helped transition Tyler Dibbling into the first team under Russell Martin before his £40 million move.
Oh, no. I just suddenly thought we shouldn't hire him because if we sack Thingy, we'll get Russell Martin in.
Exactly. That was a health warning because he was with him at Swansea City as well.
Oh, my word. No. Hopefully there'll be someone else comes out. I mean, I'll say this, though. It's nice to hear the club is finally doing this because Top said this in the interview ages ago now, didn't he, back at the Norwich game? And they need to get on with it because we need to have this in place so we can build our future, don't we?
Yeah. He also says John Rudkin has been working as director of football at Leicester for 11 years, with the technical director position being created to work closely with the club's manager, Martis Cifuentes. But it doesn't say, obviously, what role John is going to be doing. Alrighty. Millwall 2, the aforementioned Swansea City 1. And this Swansea are having a bad year, aren't they? And Millwall, I mean, they're still whereabouts are they? They're still sat up there in 5th, so they're going to be yes, sir. Yes, armchair. Indeed. Oh my God, what a thought!
I'm pretty sure he's got the agent the club normally goes for, which is quite worrying.
Yes. Oh, it wouldn't be Wasserman by any chance, would it?
I'm not 100%, but he could be. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah. But Millwall, again, they're in the playoff positions, deservedly so.
Yeah, this was actually a bigger win for Millwall than it looks, actually, because in 92nd minute winner here, and actually they dominated Swansea in the first half. 1-0 was really, really kind on Swansea. Their goalkeeper.
Look at the momentum chart.
Absolutely.
Again.
I mean, it was another cracking performance from the Swansea goalkeeper, Vigoro. Honestly, the guy is incredible. He's probably been one of the best Championship goalkeepers this season, despite how low down the league they are, because they could have been cut adrift by more. So Swansea really struggle on the road, don't they, Chris? I mean, that's their biggest one. 5 defeats and 6 on the road now for Swansea. But you'd argue their home form is remarkable because I think they've done the opposite and won 5 and 6 at home since the new manager's come in. So I think Swansea are looking a lot better now. They'll be disappointed they couldn't have mugged them for a point here. But it's a big win for Millwall because they were on a dodgy run and starting to slip away from that top, playoff placing. So their home ground is a fortress, though, isn't it? And we've always joked about that. But when you look at it, I think they've won 7 of 10 at home in the last 10 games now. A big result for this for Millwall. When it comes to the end of the season, you'll look back at this maybe and go, this could have been a game which really helped them over that line they really wanted to cross.
Yeah, no, I agree. And oh my God, I'm doing Swansea City. They are down in 17th on 32 points. They, they look safe, but again, it's not. It's not a lot. They're only 8 points above the relegation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, they could have an almighty collapse still again. But I mean, I've said it was a bit of a gamble going for Matos as the manager and paying £1 million compensation for a manager from the Portuguese league, and chucking him into a championship potential relegation battle. But credit to them. I mean, he's changed their style and they do look a lot more better at what they're doing. They're very much more compact and they're also very much better at breaking and creating opportunities. So I think Swansea will be okay. I think there's other clubs that are worse than them, and they will be difficult to beat at home.
Yeah. Well, of course, Monday night football.
Monday night football.
Oh, no, we didn't. Sorry, no, we had Norwich City first. I apologise.
I was wondering where you were going with that. I was like, we're not playing Swansea on Monday. What's happening here?
No. Sorry. I got my postponed games all mixed up. Norwich City 0, Stoke City 2. Again, Norwich looked on top in this game, but Stoke had the best of the the stats. Norwich, is their revival over?
It could very well be, because a lot of the fans after this game, when I was looking around and reading what the fans thought, they kind of went, oh, we're back to where we were before Clement even arrived. It was very much like I was talking about with Will Still and Southampton, a performance Norwich in a similar vein to Southampton, where they turned up this week, and this was the week where they felt they took 2 or 3 steps back from what Clement had done to the team. They've gone out there and signed an MLS player, Chris, for 2.1 million. From Vancouver, a club that I really rate for their academy. So that'll be interesting.
You know what I think about North American football?
Well,
North American soccer players.
I know, but I was going to bring this up. It's amazing. There's a lot of championship clubs who've done some business, because Middlesbrough got a new defender from Charlotte FC, who's a bit of a tank, and he looks like he could be a very talented player. And there's been a couple of other clubs signing players from the MLS as well this window, which shows you there must be something there for all these clubs to be looking at it. So I'm going to be intrigued to see how he gets on. He was a Toronto boy, so, I'm being born in Toronto, I'm always going to keep an eye on him. Ali Ahmed, his name is. 2.1 million they signed him for. But yeah, a funny game this for Stoke as well, because Stoke actually have got only 13 first team players fit. Right. So when you consider that, and I did call, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, that I felt Stoke were going to drop off because of their squad depth, and it seemed to be happening, didn't it? Because they fell down to about 10th. And but this is a huge win for them, especially with Sam Gallagher getting his first goal in 10 months for them, because he was signed to be their main striker. And of course, he's been out injured. He's had a few long-term injuries, and they've been relying on Mumbo, who's on loan. So, yeah, I mean, amazing result, really, for Stoke in the circumstances. But Norwich, yeah, there is still some concern from their fans. They might not have enough to stay up.
Well, yes, but looking at Stoke, obviously Mark Robbins went in there as manager, and he did well at the start of the season. There was him, and there was Coventry, which is basically his team. And doing well, but Stoke have kind of fallen off a little bit. I mean, they're in 8th. They're in 40th. I think they've still got a good chance of the playoffs, but at the start of the season they were possibly looking at being up in the top 2. But I don't think that's going to happen now.
No, I mean, they're limited by the fact they can't go out there and do what Middlesbrough do or Coventry do, which is they can't go out there and put in a 5-0 performance. I think they've only scored more than 2 goals in a game, maybe once or twice this season, Stoke. I think away at Bristol City, obviously, they had absolute cracker, didn't they? But Bristol City are a bit bizarre like that. But it's always 1-0 or 2-0. Most of it's come through Sorba Thomas, hasn't it? So yeah, I mean, I think for that, you've got to say some of his parts in that team, Mark Roberts is doing a very good job. If they had a bit more money and hopefully they could do some good business. Obviously, they lost Donnelly to Oxford, who's gone back on his loan, so that's one more they're down right now. So they need to really use this transfer window and see what they can do. But I do think Stoke aren't going to make it. I don't think they've got the legs, and if Sorba Thomas gets an injury, Chris, I think they're over.
Indeed. Now let's go to Monday Night Football. What I described as an under-10s park game between two very poor sides. Obviously, it was the game that got Ryan Mason sacked, and I think that was a bit unfair because during that game, and we did the watch along, they were the better team.
Mm.
And I know that the commentator on my channel that I was watching was saying, like, we've seen this film before, we know what could happen, yeah, but West Brom looked at 1-1 like they were off to get that their second goal, and we wouldn't. I don't think we'd have come back.
No, it's funny because I've been reading a lot of and seeing a lot of reaction from a mixture of our fan base, our Leicester fans, right? And all of us are pretty much in the same boat. We all laughed and just kind of went, "Oh, we can't believe we've done that." Some people even felt bad for West Brom and went, "That is really mugging them off, isn't it?" But it is part of football, isn't it? And Ryan Mason
to us. I'll just say, 2-1 up to Tottenham into injury time, losing 3-2. It happens in football. I call this a smash and grab.
I would call it a smash. It's probably the biggest smash and grab we've had in history at Leicester City. It's probably right up there with one of because the performance was pretty lackluster. But yeah, I think for the West Brom sacking as well, it wasn't based on this game, was it? It was based on, like you said, 10th away game in a row. They hadn't got anything, but it's a harsh way for Ryan Mason to end his tenure there. But both of us and West Brom have a similar problem. Our free scoring ability isn't there. We can't score. I mean, this is why I'll say this, actually. I wanted to bring this up about this match. I really don't want us to sell Fatawu this window. This is why I've said I would only take 50 million, and people have laughed at me, which is fine. But I've said I'd charge high money in this window because he's already gained us at least 6 points this season on his own when we've been in trouble. And if you think about it, we take that player out now, yeah, we're going to get a load of money. If we do get ourselves in a mess, get a points deduction, which we probably wouldn't if we sold Fatawu, to be honest. But we're going to lose that option to have that get out of jail free card that we've had right with Fatawu.
We could still get a points deduction because if we sold him in this January window, it wouldn't affect the period that we are being monitored for, which was up to last season.
It's the rolling element of it, so it makes this complicated because as long as you have a financial plan and you make up the extra the next year, it's irrelevant.
Yeah, no, this is it. So we could still sell Fatawu and get that. I think Fatawu, he is a class player. He is a Paul Gascoigne. He is a Glenn Hoddle. But can we afford to have a Paul Gascoigne in our team? Or let me put this to you. Would Fatawu be better in a more central position?
See, no, I don't think so. I mean, I think Fatawu is best where he is because I think he cuts in and he can still score an amazing goal. We get annoyed when he overshoots and cuts in. I mean, I've always joked he can turn himself into Damari Gray sometimes, can't he? Where he'll cut inside and just shoot it over the crossbar 20 times in a game. But no, I think we've got to kind of push that aside a little bit for the moment. You'd argue, with all due respect to Marty, if he was with a different manager, you'd probably see a lot better because a lot of the players this year, individual performances have gone down, backwards, in my opinion, under Marty. And I don't know why that is, but there is a little bit of that out there. So yeah, I mean, I still think that he's best on the wing, and we're going to have to probably just put up with some of the worst qualities of it and just hope we can keep building a team around him until he goes that will get the best out of him and control him a bit.
Indeed. We need to start and find another striker as well, don't we?
We do, yeah, because unfortunately Mikel Antonio is not going to happen. I heard it the morning before it came out that he's had a hamstring problem and they decided it was probably not worth proceeding with. I mean, but where do we find this striker from? This is the problem because, I mean, here's the scary thing. We might have to keep Daka and not sell him.
Oh, you wouldn't raid your under-21s, would you?
See, this is the interesting thing, isn't it? And here's an interesting point to you, Chris. We've got Cheltenham next. Do you think he's going to play youngsters flat when his job's on the line?
I don't think his job's on the line. This is the thing. And I actually said this in the review show. Do go and check it out with me, Kate and Steve. I don't know what to do about. I mean, the song from The Sound of Music, what are we going to do about a problem called Marty? Because when I see the teams and Hamza, well, it looked like he was going to be at right back and Ricardo at left back. It was the other way around. But Hamza at left back, we've got a Luco in there. I want to just go down up to Leicester and just put him against a wall and go, look, for fuck's sake, what are you doing? And then when I've calmed down, I look at it and I think, yeah, this isn't his team. Pep wouldn't get a tune out of this band at the moment. You know what I mean? It's he's dealing with a load of shit. In fairness, I don't know what to make of him. He's playing Silko Thomas up front, who is a winger.
Yeah.
And yes, I know he scored a goal, and well done for being in the position to do it. But Jake Edwards is banging them in for the Jake Evans.
You keep saying Jake Edwards, guys. He's going to be known as Jake Edwards on this channel. Jake Evans, yeah.
If we sign somebody called Jake Edwards now, you'll be going, "How did you know that, Chris?"
Psychic, isn't it? Yeah. But it's a funny thing you mentioned, Chris, because I think this is actually a bit of a hangover in us as a fan base because we've made so many changes recently and it's got worse. It hasn't got better. I think we're a little bit, and I feel like this, I'm a little bit anxious of if we change again, this could get worse because we've seen this happening. So it's kind of holding on to something which is maybe a 5 out of 10 at its best. And that's me being, I think, quite nice about it. On average this season, I think my match ratings I've given out, you joke about, has been a 5. It's been right in the middle as an average reading, right? So, yeah, it's very much like the Oxford situation, oddly, of a stick or twist, isn't it? I mean, I'm at the point where I would like to twist. And I do think if we lose to Cheltenham at the weekend, because I think he will go relatively strong, I think we will have to. But, yeah, it is a difficult decision, definitely, because if you twist and get it wrong, we could have a season like when we got Holloway in and we ended up slipping and getting stuck into a really surprising relegation. So...
we'd been flirting with it for a few seasons, haven't we, at that point? And I have to say, Ian Holloway, lovely guy, I met him, really nice. He was, I think, the right manager at the wrong time.
Oh, yeah, I think the club behind the scenes was a mess, which is what I'm getting alarm bells about now, because like Mandrich was signing all sorts of random players, wasn't he? And they were turning up, and it was just like, who's this bloke? Yes. How can you have a team then?
Yeah, I mean, but look, that was then. This is now. My theory on this is that we are trying to be so good with PSR. Look, we sold 50 to 80 million pounds worth of players, depending where you read it. The only players we bought in were on freebies or on loan. I think Ramsey should go back, in my opinion, because I think we've got Page and Dakova-Reid, and why pay him Premier League wages when he isn't going to be, in fairness, playing. And I think we need to, look at some of the options available. I mean, it's just said there, it was Dworski. There must be some rough diamonds in the non-league as per Vardy, and yes, I'm sure there is. And I'm sure we are looking at them.
I think we're going to have to shop like other clubs are now, Chris, because we're going to have to look at places like the French second division, like we used to, like the MLS, and places like this, because that's where your is.
All right, let me say that then. Okay, so let us say that we're going to shop in the French second division. And yes, we've had some bloody good let's not deny we've had some bloody good players from the French second divion.
It's a balance. You want some other players who've got the championship experience, of course, but being in Riyad Mahrez would be a good example of what you could get.
Exactly, and Kante. But then for every Mahrez and Kante, I'll throw a Soumare.
Or Diabate, yeah.
Or Diabate at you, yeah, so it's always a gamble, isn't it? As Armchair said there, nobody is fooled by our performance. And I think it's very, very true. We're back to £10,000-15,000 per week players, Armchair. That's what we need to be.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, can you imagine... Let me just put this out. If you can imagine, we've just won the Premier League, Tom.
I remember it was lovely.
It was, yes, yeah. We remember the good old days. We won the Premier League, and the following season, Ranieri goes out and buys an unknown player from the Conference League that played for Fleetwood Town. Yeah, they just got him and paid £1 million for him. Our fan base would have gone absolutely fucking mad. What do you mean we're buying £1 million players when we've just won the Premier League? No, I want a £30 million Slimani. I want the Dragon Slayer. And I think that, in a way, it's been almost like an albatross round our neck winning the fucking thing.
Yeah, well, don't forget as well. Like, that's right. We took a gamble on trying to break the top six monopoly, didn't we? And we came very close to doing it. The thing that let us down was we weren't responsible enough in how we were spending the money. And there was so much waste, Chris. I mean, Slimani is a good example of waste. I think we got very little back. What was it? We got nominal feedback for him. Was it a free transfer? And that was 30 million quid gone down. Plus his wages.
I think he went on a free, didn't he, in the end?
We loaned him out a lot, and we were paying his wages half the time as well. Yeah.
And then so you had Slimani, you had Tielemans, you had Perez, all these players going on a free. But we felt, for the fans wanted big names to come in. We're Premier League champions. And the problem is, we were still only Leicester. We weren't Man United. Although we'd won the Premier League, players were looking at us and going, but you're Leicester. You're not going to do that again. Sort of thing. And what? So you offering me 50, 60 grand a week? Oh yeah, then I'll come to you. And that was the thing we got into. And plus long, maybe we shouldn't have sort of given extended contracts out, but we did get into that sort of circle of big deals for big money, and we are still suffering with that. But,
we are. If you look at Faye, Sumare, and I think it's two other players, their wages together are bigger than Coventry's, right? And we're right. This is what this season's about. This is what I've been saying. We want Faye's and Sumare and Winks to be moved on. I would have done it at the start of the season.
£840,500 a week is our wage bill.
Yeah, and you know why they've gambled on this, Chris? Because you remember 2 years ago we got promoted under Enzo. We had a bigger wage budget than Newcastle, but it didn't matter because we got up. So they were gambling, go, we'll trust in these players, and these players are now 2 years older, and we can't trust in them because they've lost their heads, so they've wanted to move on. So it is definitely time to completely clear it out, and like Dorco and everyone else is saying in the chat armchair, get it back down to 10 to 15, 20 grand a week wages.
Dworsky says there, we never really used Kramaric.
I loved Kramaric. Oh, I think it was great.
I can remember that season. I was sat in the Kop. I had a season ticket then. And every time we got up to the edge of the box, nobody wanted to take a shot. It was get to the edge of the box and pass it sideways. I don't want to take responsibility. A few times that Kramaric played, he wasn't scoring, but at least he was taking shots. And we know he went on to score quite a few in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, he's a very prolific European striker. I think he ended up
one that got away. And I honestly think Slimani was as well. I think we've suffered having Vardy, and that's going to sound Irish, but whoever came in was never going to replace Vardy. Because we never got another like for like. Slimani wasn't a Vardy. Iheanacho kind of could have been, but you're never going to out Vardy from the team, let's be honest with you. Slimani, when we were playing in Europe, actually got us quite a few goals.
He did, because he was a good target man, wasn't it? I wonder if Slimani's problem, not I called him Salabi then, sorry, that was awful. I wonder if Slimani's problem was, if you think when Vardy was up top with Okazaki had the ability to stick pretty close to Vardy. He wasn't as quick as Vards, but he was nimble enough to be with him, and also he was enough to be a bit of a physical presence on there, a bit of a kamikaze, not to, stereotype too much, but he was, wasn't he? He was chaotic. And I wonder if Slimani didn't have that pace that Okazaki had to stick in around, and it made his time more difficult. But
don't think Slimani was that wasn't his role. Him and Ujoa, and I think Ujoa we did the shit on as well. I just think we just didn't use them enough. Do you remember that first goal we got back against Man United in that when we beat them 5-3?
Yes.
On the wing, crossed over. My God, how did he not take his head off when he headed that ball? But we don't have that anymore. Bamford, a 4-year deal to get a striker. To be honest with you, you laugh, but I'd take him, probably not on a 4-year deal.
Not on a 4-year deal. He'd be 40 by the time he's finished.
I would take him on a deal, but I think he's at Sheffield United, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's out of contract though in a minute, isn't he? That's the point, because he's only got a short deal.
The fans want him to stay.
Yeah. Have you heard this rumour about everyone's going, well, that Wilson chap who leaves West Ham will come to Leicester? Does everyone realise he's on like 75 grand a week at West Ham? Can you see us paying anywhere near that at Leicester? It's a no-go. No-go.
Why are you saying get him in when you want to get Ricardo out? Not Ricardo, sorry.
We can't afford it. It's out of our price scale.
It's stupid. Absolutely stupid. But look, that's a lot of fans for you. There's the table. We are sat exactly halfway, 37. If we get 9 points, that's going to take us to what? 26? So that would put us down in 20th position. Oof.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so let's hope the club is doing some good work behind the scenes to maybe make sure that doesn't happen, because we want to just get this all sorted out. I mean, it is a sort out year for us, Chris, isn't it? We've all mentioned about these wages. It's a clear out year. And the thing that worries me is that the club isn't very good at clearing out. They need to clear out the garage, don't they? And it's a bloody mess out there.
Yeah, they do indeed. And we need a garage sale, let's be honest with you. The thing we don't want to do this season is go up. But,
Yeah.
Anyway, it's that time of the show. Here we go. It's time for Performance of the Week award.
We need a comedy name for this trophy, something like the Jeffrey Sloop Trophy. Think of the most iconic championship player you can, guys, in the chat. We'll name it after the most iconic championship player or something.
Indeed. Right, so your 3 games.
Right, so guys, what we're going to do is, as usual, if you've seen this before, Performance of the Week, I give Chris some nominations and he can completely gazump me, choose his own Performance of the Week, or you can choose one of them to see, and we'll give out this award like we usually do. Right, Chris, so this week I've got 2 close ones for you, which are not my nominations, but I'll say they are. That's Birmingham and Wrexham. They're my 2 close ones. And now for the actual nominations of the 3. The first one I've got is Middlesbrough for their 4-0 win, bearing in mind they hadn't scored for 6 hours of football going into that, and obviously playing a Southampton team that had a bit of an energising way recently. Bit of a surprise to go 4-0 in this one and to win, and a massive home win for them. So I think they deserve a nomination, Middlesbrough. We've got to go for Preston, haven't we? Preston, away win at Bristol City after Bristol City just pumped 5 past Portsmouth, and to keep a clean sheet up at Ashton Gate as well, especially with the team they've got as well. I think that's a remarkable result for Preston. Puts them up into 4th in the league. A lot of people had them down as maybe relegation fodder this year. So that's a great one. So they're a nomination as well. And the final one might be a bit of a surprise for you, Chris, but I think they deserve a nomination. That's Stoke. Stoke with their away win at Norwich, because not only that, they did also win earlier in the week as well and got a 1-0 win, didn't they? And it's that thing, they've got so many players out injured, Chris. They've only got 13 first-team players at the moment. And I think the fact they're managing to go out and get results, even against teams like Norwich, I know Norwich are in a bit of a dodgy spell, but they've been pretty good the last few weeks at home as well. I think they deserve a nomination as well. So that's my 3 for you guys. Anyway, but obviously there was a couple of close ones there, but Stoke, Preston or Middlesbrough, what do you guys think in the chat as well? What would your performance of the week be?
I'm sorry, mate, just to backtrack, it's got to be the Junior Lewis Trophy.
We'll do it. It's the Junior Lewis Trophy. Well done, Armchair. You've named it. I'll get a picture of his face on it. I'm
sorry, but yes, definitely.
The Junior Lewis Appreciation Trophy.
Right. Interesting 3.
Do you want to talk about the 2 first that I suggested? Because Birmingham obviously beat Coventry and Wrexham beat Derby. But the reason why I haven't given it to them is I think Coventry and Derby have both been in dodgy form.
Yes. I'm going to talk about the 3 that you've nominated first of all. Preston, Bristol City. That was if it had been 2-0 Bristol City, we could have been saying the same. It was for me it was one of those games, Preston won it 2-0, Bristol City could have won it, sort of thing, or if they had sort of won it, we would would have been saying the same. So not that one for me. Norwich, Stoke, I appreciate what you're saying about they've only got 13 first teamers, but it was still only a Norwich City side they were playing, although they were away from home. So, but I see where you've come from with that. Middlesbrough, that's up there, I'm going to say, because they hadn't been winning, like you say. Southampton were up and down a little bit, but that could have been a bit of a banana skin. So fair play to them. Wrexham...
Wrexham 2 wins in a week as well, of course.
Indeed. That I'm surprised isn't in there.
Interesting. But it's Derby, Chris. We beat Derby. They mustn't be that good.
Oh, that's the thing that's stopping me awarding it to Wrexham. And then the first game that you mentioned, which was, funnily enough, the first game of the weekend, Birmingham City 3, Coventry City 2. Now, when I look at that one, and I'm really surprised that you didn't put that one in there. Birmingham, that was the first win in 5.
Mm.
Goal scoring, they well, look at the result. You know, they're on -1 goal difference. They let in the same amount that they score against a team that yes, again, you know, they hadn't won in well, they hadn't won in 2, but they'd won, sort of drawn one, lost drawn, but are still the team to beat. And but then you've got to consider Leicester.
Got to consider Leicester for performance of the week.
Let me finish.
Words performance, not result. Performance. The performance. I mean, that performance was like going to bed with a supermodel and lasting 20 seconds. It's terrible. You want to make a good account for yourself, don't you?
You speak from experience by the sound of it. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because as bad a performance it was, we could have capitulated in that game.
The club's been using this angle, haven't they, all week? You know, it's on social media. Like the club has, because they talk about resilience.
Yeah, and you've got to say that to a point. You know, we didn't capitulate. We did sort of sit there and play there and sort of say, well, ye shall not pass. You know, 2 of the best players on the pitch were possibly Coley and Nelson, and then of course to steal it in the way we did, it isn't funny. But I'm not going for them.
God, I was going to say, it's like when you said Hamza was man of the match and my eyes popped out of my head on the phone, and he was joking, luckily, because I was like, what game were you watching? Am I falling into the Matrix and watching the wrong game? What is this?
But no, so I'm just saying, yeah, it wouldn't have made it into my top 3. It wouldn't have even made it probably into my top 5.
You're a good supporter, Chris. You're giving your team a shout out.
I'm giving my team a shout out. So, to me, I'm surprised I'm surprised that this wasn't one of you 3. I've got to give it to Birmingham City.
Fair enough, Chris. No, I like it. This is why we do it this way, because it shows you how different people view different things. But I'm happy to accept it because it was a good result for them and they did need it as well.
I understand your Middlesbrough Southampton.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of understand your Stoke. Well, I understand them all, to be honest with you. But I just think, you know, they're at home to Coventry. Coventry would have been up for this because they're top of the league and it's a local derby. They've scored 57 goals. All right, a lot of those were in a couple of matches, but they're on a plus 28 goal difference. It was the thing that tipped it for me was that Birmingham, who hadn't been scoring, managed to score 3. But the fact that normally, if Coventry scored 2 away from home, you'd be saying 3 points for Coventry.
Yes, a very good point. I can see why you're viewing it that way, Chris.
Yeah, and I think for Birmingham to because it was therefore honestly was a close game goal wise. I don't necessarily think it was close. I can't remember what the thing said now. Yeah, I mean, it was all Coventry on top. I mean, let's just go back and have a look at this.
You've gone all the way back, like a merry-go-round.
Now, hang on, it is not allowing me to do it that way. So let me try it this way.
Yeah, take your time here, mate. I think it's 2 more away. Next one. There you go.
So when you look at that, and look how dominant they were, Coventry. Birmingham only had 24% possession. The expected goals went to Coventry just. Total shots, there was only 17. No, it was 9 to 17, so that was a big gap. They both had 3 big chances. I just think well done Birmingham for pulling out that performance. When I take all that in.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, I looked at the momentum as well and went, well, Coventry on another day could have won this game if they take it. But yeah, I get your point. They didn't, though. That's the reality. They didn't. It's not another day. It's this day, and Birmingham won it. So congratulations, Birmingham. I'm not sure if that's their first win of the season or not. Let me have a look.
I think it could well be.
I've got the list here. I've still got to update it fully. Oh, no, Birmingham have won once before when they beat Millwall 4-0.
Ah, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. That was good. I enjoyed that, mate. And we'll probably do it during the day as well, because you obviously work nights now. You can find all Tom's cards in any phone box in Devon. If you want it.
Well, I'm nicknamed the Tom, aren't I? So, yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But Steve wasn't happy with you yesterday because somebody came in and called him Tom.
I know, poor Steve, right? I mean, like, you know, if anyone you don't want to be is me, guys. I mean, we're complete opposites as well. Look at him. He's well kept and he's, you know, and there's me, a scruffy beard looking like I've just got to have an ice hockey game.
Yeah, well, you have got that sort of look. Or you've just come, you're the missing member from ZZ Top.
The missing member of ZZ Top, absolutely. I'm literally the time-traveling version of that. I'm going to evolve into ZZ Top in the next lifetime.
You are. Thank you very much. We will be back tomorrow, Thursday, at 7:00 with a preview of Cheltenham Town versus Leicester City. And we have got the local reporter for Cheltenham Town coming in to talk to us about it. So join Brad for that one. And you will be back on Sunday night, sir, with your new football manager.
I will indeed. I'll be back with you for the watch along. Is that Saturday, the watch along this week?
The watch along. I was trying to forget that.
No, it's fine. We've got the watch on, but yes, I'm back with the Football Manager series as well. We're getting towards the January transfer window and that. We're Leicester in League Two, obviously rebuilding with the academy. So if you want to come along and hang out and just talk, that's the show for you.
And of course, also he's had his winter break, so the players should be back and raring to go.
Yeah, and it's going to be all joint top of the league at the moment, so it's very interesting. And of course, Chris, I'm only a couple of bad games away from the sack. You know what I'm like.
Well, I don't want to say anything, but yep, you are. Thanks a lot, Tom. Thanks to everybody that's been in the chat as well. And if you're watching this on catch up, do you agree with us? Disagree with us? Get it into the chat below. And if you're listening via your favourite podcast platform, as always, thank you very much for lending us your ears. Tom, thank you so much, mate. Don't work too hard tonight, and I'll see you at the weekend. Goodbye, everybody.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.